As we speak, we know that tensions are escalating in Ukraine and geopolitics, the news of the day pretty much. I mean, is that prompting greater demand for weapons? What are you seeing at Lockheed?
Well, certainly, it's Linda, and by the way, it's wonderful to be here with you this morning. Wonderful Singapore. You know, certainly events like Ukraine and elsewhere in the world kind of bring attention to this. But I think there's a longer-term trend here. There's a lot of entities out there, big and small, who are threatening security in a lot of different ways. They're using high technology. They're using different ways of infiltration. And that has driven, I think, a broadened interest in national security, security for economies. And I think that drives the broader market more than perhaps these individual blips, but they certainly bring a little bit of attention to it for us.
What are they wanting, though, when it comes to all these weapons and aircraft? Do they go beyond the F-16s? What are you seeing right now?
Well, I think certainly, for example, across this region, we see everything from maritime surveillance and anti-submarine warfare with helicopters. We see combat aircraft, F-16s, F-35s, air defense as well, are big certainly within this region. And a drive toward connecting systems together, a drive toward getting the most out of what you have, including your heritage systems that you already have in place. So all those are factors. And oh, by the way, things like airlift and helicopters are important for response to humanitarian disasters and natural events. And so we see these kind of things happening across this region and across the world.
Tim, we know that Lockheed Martin's been looking for partnerships, but that $4.4 billion deal with Aerojet was scrapped. Where do you go from here?
Well, I think there's, and of course, we're disappointed the Aerojet deal fell through. We thought there were some great synergies there and some benefits for the United States government and for our international partners. But, you know, there are so many different places to build partnerships. It doesn't always have to be mergers and acquisitions, and there's plenty of other places we can go in that area as well. But certainly partnerships with individual companies. For example, throughout this entire region, we're building F-35s in partnership with MHI in Japan. We're building helicopters in both Japan and South Korea. We're got all kinds of things going on with the Australian government to build systems down there. And in India. So there's a lot of other partnerships. We don't have to necessarily just rely upon these big mergers.
Let's talk a little bit about the partnership with Airbus when it comes to the strategic tanker to take on Boeing at the next U.S. Air Force competition. Why?
Well, why is there's a tremendous opportunity to take 60 years of experience and airlift capability of Lockheed Martin with a proven system coming out of Airbus and the ability to build that within the United States for the United States Air Force, which has a great need for air tanker capability in the future. So that's why we think we got a great product. We think the time is right. We got a great partner. Now is as good as any.
Tim, we know that for your business, security restrictions and the sensitivities make it more difficult when it comes to supply chain sensitivities anyway. How challenging has it been on that front, and do you see an improvement?
Well, I think it depends a little bit on the product itself. So certainly any time that we are exporting product out of the United States, it's very clear that that's a key element to work with our partners in the United States government and make sure our allies can get that capability. We just need to take the time and work that through. But we're also continuing to build capability within individual countries. We're building Australian capability. We're building Japanese capability. We're building Indian capability here in Singapore with our partners. So the more we do those kind of things, the easier it is, I think, for us to overcome some of those technological barriers and ensure that our customers get the capability they need.
Tim, we talked about how you're looking at supersonic weapons. I mean, this has been in discussion for years. What's different this time around? Is it for real?
Yeah, I think it is for real. I think we see this technology finally coming to the forefront. We see nations around the world that are either already fielding those systems or they are developing those systems rapidly. And so now is the time, I think, where certainly from the United States, and it's going to be Australia is probably going to be next, and other nations are saying we need to have that kind of capability to make sure that we can deter a war and we can respond. And then ultimately we need to be able to defend against those systems.
Just a quick question before we let you go. I mean, so much question about where travel goes from here. How will travel change over the next few years, do you think?
Well, I'm concerned that maybe it won't change so much. Certainly, I think us continuing to be safe and respond to these variants as they come out is going to be critically important. I think we can leverage what we've learned during the pandemic. Virtual calling has become a norm now. We can engage with our customers, but fundamentally still engaging with our partners, engaging with our customers, working to tie all our systems together and interoperate them, that all still requires human-to-human contact. We're going to have to keep traveling. We're going to have to figure it out. We'll see where it goes, but it's going to be exciting times.